Welcome everyone to the 6th episode of the Outrage V2 because, as Al and I are going to quickly mention to start off, he and I, myself and Big Al, Alain Kevion, my co-host, welcome in Alain. I'm Spencer Byers, if you didn't know. We recorded for 2 hours, almost 2 hours
It's
at least.
5:25 right now as we record this on January 9th. Okay, we've been here for 2 hours already because we already recorded this freaking thing.
Yeah, we already recorded episode 6. It was recorded.
And we were ready to go, and turns out something malfunctioned while we were recording.
Yeah, so basically what seems to have happened is Burley on the one, because we have 2 monitors and 2 computers on both sides of our
Burley is the software, the editing software we use to record,
and it's a radio software. It's a radio editing software.
Yeah.
Or as the great Ray Williams would say, our radio professor, Al's favorite teacher, my favorite teacher especially. It is a Windows power based software, something like that.
I don't give a
But anyway, so basically we recorded it on the one side, on the right side, and now apparently the disk is full. So now it's deleted all the audio that was on it, including our podcast. So now, and also didn't record it in the first place. So
yeah,
it is now very much gone. So now you get to hear us regurgitate what we just had a 2-hour conversation about.
At least now, yeah, we'll keep it like. It'll be a lot shorter than 2 hours at least this time because, like, let's be honest, like we talked a lot the first time around.
Yes, we did.
So it sucks too because, like, you guys missed
You missed a lot.
The initial reaction. So we had a good Christmas break. Mine was a little more eventful than Spencer's. To summarize, I consumed a lot of beer
As always.
Played in a high school alumni.
He also
tournament.
turned 23.
Turned 23. Yep. Played in a high school alumni tournament, which was really fun. Got to see a lot of buddies. It's basically like, who needs a high school reunion at this point when it comes to that tournament? Because people from all over the province, and even, heck, if they work out of province that used to go to the high school I went to, they make sure to mark it down on their calendar that they're off and available because a lot of guys want to play in the tournament, and everybody shows up. Like, you know, people that you might not have seen like since you graduated, and even like old puck bunnies and like all that kind of thing. It's super fun. Lost in the semifinals to the defending champs that beat us in the finals the first time they won, which was in 2019 before COVID. What else? My brain is so fried, man. Like, this sucks. Yeah, what else, Spencer?
No, genuinely, we went for 2 hours on a lot of different things.
Oh yes,
the
breaking news that
you got suspended.
I got suspended. I got suspended
as a coach.
As a coach, not as a referee.
Oh my lord!
Yeah, this was funny because I kept it from Spencer. So basically, what happened is I built it up. I was like, Spencer,
throughout the day.
Yeah, as the day went on. Like, I saw him at around like what, 1 o'clock? No,
we went out for lunch at like
12:30, 1 o'clock, and I was like, Spencer, I got something big to tell you. You're gonna laugh. I was like, all I'm going to tell you is that it involves me and minor hockey. I was like, I'd tell you now, but I want your initial reaction on the podcast. And funny enough, I told him, broke the news, that I got a 3-game suspension as a coach because my mouth was a little dirty.
Yeah, he needs the soap, guys.
And the official that was reffing the game did not like what I said. Basically, I'll give you guys a backstory of it because I usually don't yell at refs. I don't, right? Like, I am a referee, so I got to be respectful towards my fellow coworkers, my partners, whatever the heck you want to call it. So I don't yell at refs. Even when I go out of town for tournaments, I try not to say a lot because I know that it's a tough job and it's a big task. And I've done it, right? This is my 8th year officiating. Anyways. So we were beating Brampton 8-2, and I coach in the third period. I coach a U18 MD hockey team,
which means development,
minor development.
Yeah.
So it's basically competitive house league, but it's right under single A. So like, anyways, okay, cool. And we were winning 8-2 at this point. Sorry, I'm telling you, like, I'm tired. Like, I hate that I'm gonna have a hard time to make this more entertaining than it was the first time around. But yeah. So then the game got physical because as the score went up, so did the chippiness from the other team, and all game I was telling my players, hey, like, keep your cool, keep your heads on, like, let's not get stupid, you know, like, we know this is gonna happen, just be ready for it, right? And I'm hoping as the game goes on, when the ref skates by, like, as much as we say we tune it out, like, we don't care, we don't really hear what the bench has to say, like, we listen, we hear stuff once in a while, so I'm hoping, like, I was hoping, like, throughout the game, like, I was saying that a lot, like, as the game went on, that the officials would hear that, so, you know, it would kind of give me, like, not a benefit of it, but a bit of protection from getting thrown out, as in, like, okay, this guy obviously knows is saying the right things to his team. He's obviously not the kind of guy that like would say anything with any ill will, I guess you could say. Yeah, any malice or whatever. So this guy from the other team goes to hit one of our players, and our player braced for it, stood him up, clobbered the guy.
Back at you.
Clobbered the guy, okay? Reverse hit, I guess you can call it. And the kid barrel rolls. Picture it, okay? You know how you roll down a hill, like a steep hill, and you're just rolling, waiting until you get to the bottom, you stop rolling? Kind of like that. Barrel rolls from the blue line to center ice. And I'm like, what the am I looking at, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is what my initial thought was. So I'm going like, okay, listen, I know our guy's getting a penalty for body checking, which is fine. Mm-hmm. I'm like, he leveled the kid, fine. Mm-hmm. But then I'm looking at this, I'm like, this is the biggest dive I've ever seen. And I said that out loud. I wasn't even looking at the ref when I said it, like the whistle had blown, the penalty was going to be called. I'm like, this is the biggest dive of life I've ever seen. And I'm yelling this, okay? This is pretty loud. But I wasn't directing it to the player, wasn't directing it to the official. I was kind of just letting my emotions out verbally. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I finished saying that, beep, I get tossed. He goes, you're gone, go. And I'm like, I'm kind of just like in shock at this point because I'm like, really? Like, this is what I'm getting tossed for? But I'm not going to say, like, I knew if I said something, it was going to get worse. I was going to get like 9 games or whatever.
Yeah.
Moral of the story, I got 3 games for that, which I do think is kind of soft because I know if it was me as the official and I heard that, I'd be like, hey, listen, we got the call. Don't worry. Like, we got it. Like, it's taken care of. Like, we don't need anything else.
Yeah, you'd give a verbal warning.
I'd give a verbal warning. I wouldn't throw someone out for that.
And give him 3 games.
But they did. And it's not really him, the official that gave me 3 games. It's the rule
that he picked.
So Rule 11 is the right rule that he used against that. Like he enforced against me. Yeah, it is a new rule that Hockey Canada has this year. And basically, any discriminatory comments, anything that can affect a person's mental health, their state of mind, or that abuses them physically, psychologically, I think that's it. Or verbally. Yeah, there you go. That's the other one. I know you guys are probably listening to this. Come on, you're a ref. You should know this. Hey, listen, I'm still learning too, okay? Like, there's new rules almost every freaking year.
Yeah,
or there's something that changes.
You get a new rule book every year.
Yeah, like every 2 years, actually.
Oh.
2 years, the rule book changes a little bit if there's any tweaks to be made. But anyways, so they use that, and the rule that he applied was 11.2E, which was aggressive. What was the word? Aggressive or disrespectful behavior, or something like that. I forget what I don't know. It's such BS. I tried to wash it out of my head a little bit, but whatever. That was the kind of rule that was enforced, and here's my stance on it. I know you guys are probably saying, "Oh, like you sound pretty mad," and like, you're a ref. Why are you saying this? Like, I have nothing against the official that made that call. Mm-hmm. I do see where he came from, and honestly, at that point, the game was getting pretty heated, and I think he got to the point where the next thing that was said, like, you're gone. Even whether it was directed to him, a player, didn't matter, like, you were gone. Our captain got ejected about 30 seconds later after that for the same rule. I found out what he said afterwards, though, to the player, and yeah, that one was worth the ejection. I agreed. I was like, yeah, you probably shouldn't.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't have said that.
It was good. I was like, damn, that's pretty good. But at the same time, I was like, you can't say that. Like, it's like the ref. It's like, you can't do that.
Yeah,
but like,
you can't do that.
Yeah, but anyways, so Spencer had a really good laugh earlier because he's like, it was just hilarious.
It's because it's when you tell me you got suspended as a coach, I'm like, well, you ref for a while, you've played, obviously.
And that's the thing, too. I texted my supervisor after. I texted everybody. I called everyone. I called my referee in chief. I was like, hey, you're not going to have me for a few games.
Yeah. No, you forgot to mention that because you got suspended 3 games as a coach, you can now not ref until those games are over.
Yeah, so if you're a ref, but you're also like a player or a team official, and you get suspended as a player or a team official, you cannot ref until your suspension has been served. Mm-hmm. So that's why I was making phone calls afterwards. I was like, hey, like, I was pretty embarrassed, too, because, like, not to blow smoke up my ass or anything, but like, I am one of the better officials in my region. Like, I was selected
honestly, you should have that confidence anyway. Like, everybody should have that confidence,
but like, I was selected for the Ontario Hockey Federation Championships last year, my first year reffing in Southern Ontario and around the GTA. So like, that was a pretty big thing for me. I was surprised because I haven't been here for that long, but it was nice to get like the recognition and selected for that. And now I'm basically just waiting to make that jump to junior hockey. Everyone keeps telling me like, oh, you're good skater and all that, blah, blah, blah. Like, how come you're not doing junior? Even like, I've heard it from my supervisors, and we're kind of still trying to get that ball rolling. But anyways, So like, so my supervisor, when I texted him asking like, hey, like, can I still like do tournament games count as suspension time served for the suspension? He goes, he's like, yes. He's like, as long blah blah blah, and he goes like, wait a minute. He's like, why'd you get suspended as a referee? Because you're a ref.
Yeah.
And I go and I texted him. I was like, well, here's what happened. Basically, what I just explained. And then he's like, okay, well, like, technically that's not the right rule. Like, it is Rule 11, just the wrong subsection, I guess, to the rule because like it wasn't directed to the referee or to anyone. But regardless, like he made the point of saying like, dude, what the heck? Like, you're a ref. Like, why are you getting suspended? So, and it's true. Like, and like we talked about in the first version of this podcast that we recorded. I learned my lesson. I'm definitely I'm gonna be a different coach. Obviously, there's things I can't, like, I know I can't say stuff like that. It's just, like I said, man, in the moment, I couldn't believe what the hell I was watching. Like, it was almost like watching soccer. Like, you know how you try to sell a call,
Yeah,
like, or
dive
play
and
a dive, right? I was like, dude, come on. Like, I couldn't believe it. And I know, like, they're younger and whatnot, but like that kind of stuff does not, like, you don't even see that stuff in the NHL. Like, and you're pulling that. Like, I'm not saying MD hockey's the NHL, but I just couldn't believe what the frick I was watching. I'm like, as if this is like they're selling a call and there's being a freaking tool. Like, you know what I mean? So I just couldn't believe it. And I didn't filter it long enough, and I just blurted out, and I got tossed. And I've refed with the guy that threw me out and suspended me before, and I have no no hard feelings towards him. I thought the two officials, like, it was a 4-man system, and I thought the 4 officials that were calling the game called a good game up until that point a little bit. Like, do I think it was warranted of a suspension? No. Do I think he was right to eject me? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, he's a great guy. And I did ref with him this summer, and he's a good official. He knows what he's doing, and I think it just the heat of the moment, and he just picked someone to throw out, and unfortunately I was the one, and it is what it is. I think I'm going to be a better coach for it, and I even think, I might be even a better referee for it because, like, maybe I do give a verbal warning for that kind of stuff, but, next time maybe I'll go, oh, like, maybe I will think of an ejection. Probably not. I think it was soft. But, yeah, so that's that on me getting thrown out.
And getting tossed.
Yeah, so it's funny. Then when we talked about this the first time around, we went on a huge tangent about, like, how,
you can't play referees. Be
like,
nicer to referees, man.
Yeah,
be nicer to referees.
Yeah, there's
bottom line. Be nicer to referees. Be nicer to umpires, because they are human at the end of the day. And more importantly, as a guy who would love to be a coach in football and basketball, have coached basketball, when you look at a game from film, reffing is the last thing on your mind. You're looking at what your team had done and what you wish you could have done better and what you think you could do better and what you're going to practice out of your team in the next couple practices to get ready for your next game.
I will say this too. Like, I did say this earlier when we first tried to record this, but when I used to play as a player, and I was a referee when I was a player as well, I'd always say, oh, I'm wearing a reffing jersey. This is me reffing. Like, I'm going to make sure everything's safe, everything's good, blah, blah, blah. But when I played, I still have that chippy / edgy part to my game where everyone's like, oh, my God, like, you're a ref, but you play like this? It's like, yeah, I'm playing. This is me trying to win it. Like, this is different. Same thing with a coach. I'm wearing a jacket with a logo on it that belongs to a hockey team. I'm not a referee. Does that mean, though, like, I have full right to fly off the handle the way I did? No. But I'm just saying, like, I will change the way I vocalize things as the games go on and as the rest of the season goes on. But I'm not going to completely change who I am in the sense, like I'm passionate about with what I do, and I'm passionate towards the team I coach.
You should be.
But at the end of the day, though, like, I want to make it clear, I've never disrespected another official, because I know better.
Yeah.
Like, I know how hard it is, and it's not an easy job, man.
Yeah, and
it's
you
not
know what?
easy.
I want to rehab this part of the conversation. I think it's important. So we went on the whole tangent about referees and how people blame referees, and it's ridiculous, and so you've had some vitriol thrown at you. But then you talk about how the break worked out for you because of it letting you refresh your mind on reffing, because you had a bad couple weekends before the break.
I had like 5 bad games where I was
getting cussed out.
Yeah, like my last game that I reffed was on December 15th or sometime around that week. No, not the 15th. Whatever the Monday was, like during that week, because the 16th was a Friday. So, anyways, the 11th.
We'll go with
December,
that. 11th
we'll
to 12th.
December 11th or 12th. Anyways, and I got to the point where I thought I was calling a game, and I'm usually the kind of ref where I'm like, oh, I'll let the kids play. If it gets stupid or if it's something super obvious, I'll call it.
Yeah.
But I was just getting ripped to shreds by parents left and right. I got into like some verbal altercations a little bit with a couple of the parents, but it was warranted. It wasn't one of those where I lost my cool. It was just one of those where like
they kept going.
I had to tell them like stop or
yeah, it's enough.
Yeah, it's enough out of you, or like, hey, how about you throw on the jersey, see how you'll do or whatever. And then there's the odd time where I'll throw out the comment like, you probably can't even skate. But that's just that's as far as I'll go. Anyways, and then at the end of the game, I was all like mad. I kept replaying the game in my head, like what could I have done better? Like it was bad. Like I actually considered quitting because I was like, I've had enough. Like I'm 22 going on 23. Like I've been reffing for 8 years. I've taken a lot of crap, but I'm getting to the point now where like some of this stuff, I guess it's getting to me a little bit more. And I don't know if that's because more people are raising awareness now towards the verbal abuse or just generic abuse that officials do take in sports, whether it's hockey, baseball, basketball, it doesn't matter.
Football, yeah, all of
any sport. Like there's all especially at the minor level.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, parents again, like we talked about, you hate doing 11, 12, 13, like 10, 11, 12.
10, 11 and 12 are the worst age
because
groups.
Parents think their kids are going to the show and the nice way possible.
And they're super protective too, which I respect, fine, but at the same time it's like, man,
I'm trying. I'm trying too. Like I'm trying to protect your kid.
And that's another thing too. As a referee, the good ones anyways. And I'm not just saying me, but like most of the good officials will have this similar mentality. Let them play, call the obvious stuff, and anything that's like dangerous, obviously call that as well. But the other thing too is I try to ref my game in the sense that I will call it if I know I can stay consistent with it. Right? And that's the main thing. All people ask for most of the time is consistency.
Even if it's bad, just be consistent.
And that's fine, right? Like if you're calling all game, like call the game the way like you want to call it, fine. But like
just don't pick and choose.
Don't pick and choose. Like be consistent and call the obvious stuff. You have to. Honestly, like the 50-50 stuff, like most of the 50-50 stuff is like stick work. Sometimes could be the body on like a close interference or not or whatever. But like the obvious stuff, like if someone gets their head taken off, call it. Like if someone gets hit from behind, call it. That kind of thing. So that's another thing, like where I kind of thought what I was calling was consistent, but at the same time fair. And anyways, I just had enough. And then after the game, I was walking out and I saw this lady sitting in the stands, and I was like, great, like here we go, just another person to pile on to. Nope. Instead, it was, hey, don't listen to these guys. I thought you refed a good game. I saw the video of the one play they were complaining about, and you were right not to call it. It was the right thing to do. Just stop listening. And it was nice. It was nice to hear because it's like, man, finally someone gets where I'm coming from, in the sense that I'm not calling it because I don't want to. It's just because I'm right frickin' there, man. Like, you know what I mean? I'm right there. You're like in the top row, standing near the rail, where I'm in the corner, right in like 3 feet away from the two players that were like battling for puck possession, and then the one guy ends up losing an edge, going into the boards, hurts his leg. Tough.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it's not my fault. It's not like me not calling it would change the outcome. Oh, there's a call. Like, I'm not going to call it just because he's hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
If it would have warranted a call because a player, like, physically threw him towards the boards or whatever, tripped him or something, fine. But no, he lost an edge and then went into the boards. Like, I'm right there. So it's just that kind of stuff that's annoying. But anyways, I did think of like letting it go, but it was nice to hear from that lady. Like, it made it all better in the sense of like, you know what? That lets me know I'm doing a good job, because like there's good and bad, but all I was hearing was bad for the last couple games I was doing, and I'm like, man, like what's going on?
Do I suck?
And I even called my supervisor. I was like, hey, what can I do like for this kind of situation? And he was like, I don't know. Like, I'm glad you're like, not because he doesn't know. Like, it was just like one of those where it's like, honestly, I can't tell you. Like, it's one of those where you kind of just have to have your judgment, I guess, or whatever. I forget what the question was, but anyways, and he told me, he's like, but I appreciate you asking this because it shows that you like care and that you want to be better. And it's like, well, yeah, like, don't get me wrong. I'm okay with getting booed here and there, or I'm getting yelled at. Like, I can handle it. I've been doing this long enough that, like, it takes a lot for me to get mad and throw someone out or whatever, or to, like, have it affect me. But this was like one of those where like there was a lot of bad and not a lot of good. So I was just like, man, like, am I actually crap?
Yeah, do I suck?
But then that lady reassured, like, just that one person, like, reassured me and stuff. And I was like, great, I'm going to go on a 2-week break. I'm going to come back and I'm going to ref as soon as I come back. Well, now I got to wait an extra week. Got to serve that suspension first. But, yeah, like, it's not an easy job. And it's one of those where for the first time, like, in 8 years, I was like, damn, this is actually getting to me. Like, this is, it's affecting me. Like, I'm not losing sleep or anything, but, like, I'm in my own head now. And usually I'm one of those guys that'll tell you first, like, hey, don't let it bother you. Whatever happens at the rink stays at the rink. Like, it's over. It's done. But this was the first time, like, where I'm like, shit. Like, this is bugging me.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, all I'm going to say is to end on this segment would be parents, chill the out.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot from getting tossed and suspended. Do I agree with it? Not 100%. But it is what it is, and I think I'm going to be a better coach for it. And you know, I'd like honestly like thank you to the I know who threw me out. I know the name. I know his first and last, but I'm going to leave it out of the podcast. But thank you for throwing me out. It's enlightened me, but at the same time, you know, just goes to show that games do get heated sometimes, and sometimes when you do panic, you can make not rash decisions, but jump the gun, I guess you can say. So, if there's any referees listening to this podcast, stay calm when things get heated. It's not because of you. You know, it's just the game, man. Like, it's the way it goes sometimes. It's not every game's going to be perfect, and tune out the noise, man. Like, try to tune it out as much as you can, like, and listen to... This is also an advice I live by, too, I guess you could say, is, like, you got to pick what advice to listen to and what not to listen to. It's kind of like one of those where, like, don't listen to Bobby that, like, you know, watches the NHL all the time and, like, has a 6-pack of beer every night and, like, comes to the rink and whatever and, you know, played house league his entire freaking childhood and now, like, he's at the rink watching his kid play AAA. Like, don't listen to guys like him when you hear feedback from the crowd or whatever. Like, listen to your supervisors. Listen to other officials that ref with you. You know, there's always room for improvement.
Of course. Like everything.
And you don't need to, if there's one thing I know for sure is I don't listen to a lot of parents. I mostly listen to them on their good feedback and what they like, so I know what to keep doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And when it comes to things I need to change in my game, I usually listen to my supervisors.
Yeah, people who are more experienced, if you will.
Yeah, well, that know what they're talking about. Because, like, half the time, dude, the stuff I hear... There's a lot of plays where I'll call a penalty and someone will disagree with it, like in the stands. They'll be like, "Oh, really? Like you're calling that? Oh, come on! Like there's 2 teams out there." And then half the time I'm going like, usually when I call something, it's again the obvious stuff. And half the time I'm like, man, how do you not think this is how do you think this is not a call?
Yeah,
how do you think this is not a call? Like are you crazy? Like what the heck? But anyways, I got suspended. Lesson learned. I'll be reffing again this Saturday, which is January 14th, and hopefully this is the last time as a bench coach or as a coach that I get tossed. I think it will be. I knew it was going to happen at some point. I just didn't think it was going to be for that. And I will say this: there are other instances this season where I was pretty vocal, and it was
probably
with an official, and I think it did warrant an ejection, but it didn't happen. So that's another reason why it caught me off guard yesterday. But anyways, what was next on the list?
Well, I just want to quickly add, the reason why I wanted you to talk about that with the nice lady who gave you the compliment was that, you know, compliment people in your life, but compliment just if you think somebody's doing a good job and even if you don't feel like it's big for you, I think it's important. We talked about how you had a waitress up home. I had a waitress on when I was at, I think it was the Jack Astor's up here.
Right, yeah, like she was telling me like how she was having a rough day, like or whatever, and then I just went out for like a couple beers with my buddies, and I tipped her like $20 just for her to serve me like 2 beers or whatever, and she was like, oh, like you don't have to do that. It's like no, like you do a good job, and like sometimes it's little things like that that make a whole person's day, right? Like was it your Timmy story?
Yeah, my team. When I started at Tim Hortons in Wyerton, which is a tourist town, where I'm born and raised. It's a tourist town, so from about late May to about early September, every day is packed, and then especially on holidays. I actually have a story about that for how long I've worked one shift and why I don't compare people to me about that kind of stuff. But like when I was working at Tim Hortons, I was trying to I was serving a customer, and he wasn't very happy with me, and he was kind of upset with me, and he was kind of chatting, and then He kind of was giving me some back talk and kind of rolling his eyes behind my back. And a lady I had been serving, she kind of defended me and said, "Hey, he's got training on his sticker, like on his name tag. Leave him alone. He's just learning. Let him learn." And then I served him, got him out of the way, then served her with her coffee. And she said, "Hey, keep your head up. You're doing fine. You're a trainee. You're getting better. You're gonna get better."
It's the little things like that that make it go like a long way. And like I don't think I would have quit anyways.
Well, of course not.
But like I think I wasn't overreacting. I definitely think it was the right thing to do because like so I'm still chasing like I'd like to ref in the OHA, which is the Ontario Hockey Association, is junior hockey here.
Okay.
And then well after that would be the OHL.
Okay.
So like for me my main goal is the OHL, and so I don't think I would have quit because I still have those goals and I still want to do it, and it's kind of one of those where like you push through the
hate, the adversity.
Yeah, the adversity and that kind of thing, and so I don't think I would have actually quit, but it was kind of scary a little bit though because it was the first time where I was like, oh my, like
Well,
shit,
You know
like
what? You know what, Alex? That's actually perfect because I can now piggyback off that and take you to my coaching experience. So when I coached a U14 team with a local basketball program. It was a rep team basically, and we were the one team. I was U14, so that's grade 8. There were 3 teams, not including the premier team, which is like the top team in our division. There's a premier team, 1, 2, 3. We were one of 4 teams. We were the top team of the house league teams basically. And as the season went on, I found it to be almost a chore to make the drive, and not because I didn't enjoy it necessarily. It's that the kids, for me, did not seem to want to be there.
Right, and it's like, well, if you don't want to be there, why
exactly.
should I be here?
It's like if you don't want to be here and your parents are spending the money to come, the $2,000 it is to play rep basketball up here, which is ridiculous to me. But
it's
anyway,
actually for the team I coached, $3,500.
That's ridiculous too. With hockey equipment too.
Yeah,
My
like
God.
I mean, luckily for like the kids now, like they're at the point where like some of them are like,
Jobs.
I mean, they start growing, but some of them also finish growing. So like it's a weird gap. Like
yeah, exactly.
my cousin started growing this year. Like he's in grade 11 now. But there's other guys on the team who've hit their spurts way earlier. So now they're kind of just
giants.
Yeah, they're done, right? But yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because there's a guy on our team. Actually, I don't know if I want to talk about that. Never mind. But let's just put it this way: when you talk about kids that wanting to be there or not being there, he basically begged to be on our team at the tryouts. And he was good. He's a good player. Like I'm not gonna say he was a good player. He is a good player, and he's definitely an asset. But we don't see him very often.
Attitude?
Nah, I don't know. I just put it this way. I don't think he likes the game anymore.
Oh, okay.
And if that's the case, fine. It's unfortunate because like he really sold himself to us when he told us that he really wanted to play for us, and then he did really well in tryouts and he looked good. Still, even for the games he played for us, I think he's played 9.
Out of?
I think we got like 24.
Oh my God!
But we're like, this is the second half, right? So like
yeah.
I don't know how much we played before the break, but yeah, he's not there very often. Like we hardly see him at practice, and even the last couple of games now, it's like we don't know if we get him, we get him. If we don't, we don't, and it's unfortunate. It doesn't change my mindset. I'm gonna be there. Like, listen, you don't want to be there, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't give a crap. I'll be there. But like, it kind of like you just reminded me of that off what you were saying.
Well, no, but that's what I mean now. Think about that with 12 to 15, U14 kids, who you're trying to coach them, you're trying to make them better, and you're trying to help them in the best way I know how.
Yeah.
And just there's nothing. Like there's no passion, there's no desire. It feels like. And it's like, it's just a chore to want to be around you guys.
Do you ever get the vibe that, like, sometimes it's not even, it's not because the kid, like, maybe it's the parent that wants them to be in that sport, but they really just don't give a crap. Like, I'm only doing, hey, I'm only doing this because my mom wants me to play.
No, I felt that with some of the kids where it's like, but even some of the kids, like, they wanted to be there.
Because if you love the game, you love the game. Like, that's why I'm still involved with it. Like,
but I
love the game of hockey, so I'm going to do whatever it takes to be around it. But at the same time, it's cool, like, that I get to coach, like, my cousin at the same time. But, like, even, like, when he's done playing, if I'm still in the area and there's still, like, I've made quite a good amount of connections since I've been here where I know there's a few guys that might need coaches here and there. And I'd love to, even if I don't know anybody on the team, I'd love to step in on their staff and, I don't know, just give back. Like, I love the game.
But that's what I mean. But my biggest problem is, like, when it's like every single kid, where I can't even find like one kid where I'm like, okay, that kid really wants to be here. That kid's really trying or has the ability to try, right? Because sometimes even that, like, it's not that they don't have passion for it. It's just their skill level is not good enough for like the level we're trying to play at, right?
Right.
And like that's also a problem. And I'm not trying to belittle any of the kids on that team. And
Yeah.
I remember most of them,
Yeah.
right? But literally, our best game all season was our last game. Was at our tournament, or our last year tournament in June, right? And it was our best game we ever played. Like we were down big, like we were almost every game, and we came back. We only lost by like 3 or 4 points. And I told them like that's the best game I've ever seen you guys play. Like I've never seen us have that much fight in a game. I've never seen us have that much desire in a game yet. Like that's the first time, guys. I'm happy to see it, but it sucks it came at the last game of the year, not in January when we hadn't had a chance to build on it.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the thing. Like for me, it was just a chore. Having to look at my phone and go, I gotta get up for practice at 7:00. Because I didn't want to go because I'm like, why am I here wasting my time where I could be getting a job or at home practicing for what we're doing here when I know you guys almost don't want to be here. And like Al, I tried to get to know some of the kids. Like when they came off, I'd ask them, how was your day? What'd you do? What'd you have for supper?
Like
what are you gonna have?
Yeah, like what's your pregame meal? Or
what are you doing in class? What's your favorite subject?
How's
what's your least favorite subject? Like I quiz these kids most of the time, right?
Yeah.
And I asked them, do you want to play high school basketball? Do you plan to play at the high school level here? And I'd say, Al, out of my number one rep team, out of the 3 house league teams ish, out of the three regular rep teams, we were the number one team. I had like 3 kids who actually wanted to play high school basketball, and I'm like, in the nicest way possible, why are you here? Like you're playing rep basketball. This is after school stuff. Why are you here if you don't want to play high school basketball? Like I don't understand.
Yeah,
because this for me is a development. This is getting better to play at high school to then play at the college or university level. We're covering right now with OUA for our UFT. I do it for York, and then for OCAA, where I do with Sheridan.
Yep.
Like I don't understand how you wouldn't want to, because I can tell you right now, if I made my parents spend $2,000 to play rep basketball, my dad would be on my butt to be practicing every day, trying every day, and then play for the high school team. Because why am I wasting this money for you to play if you're just gonna mess around and
that's the thing.
not do it at a high school level?
And I guess that's the thing. That's
or an upper level.
I think that's the point to where we're trying to put a bow on this conversation here is like, if there is a purpose as to why you're doing it, like passion will overtake skill. Passion wins all the time.
It's
most of the time, right?
And it's the adage, Al. It's the hard work beats skill if skill doesn't try hard.
Absolutely, and I think that was the more like where we were trying to wrap up, in the sense that like I was thinking of quitting, but the only reason why I'm not going to is because I still have a purpose.
You still have goals.
I still have goals, and I'm still in that prime age where, okay, first of all, I think 23 is old, but everyone else keeps telling me, you're young, you have lots of time. Yeah, I don't know, man. I blinked and I'm 23. You know what I'm saying? Like 22 went by really freaking fast. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like even now, like I'm like, damn, I'm 23 years old, but it only feels like I've been on this planet for like 15 years. Maybe that's just my mental state of mind. Because I mean, don't get me wrong, I am an adult's age, but I'm still a child at heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that'll always be like that. Maybe that's why I'm hoping to live a long life. But anyways, yeah, so I'm obviously not done with reffing, but that was the first time I was like, damn, like this actually got to me a little bit. But anyways, what's next on the agenda? We got the Blue Jays, right?
Yeah, we went Blue Jays next in their original. You want to keep going Blue Jays? You want to talk about the moves they made all summer?
Yeah, I mean, so like we talked about, I'm gonna reiterate this a lot because I'm still kind of pissed off that we're still here. Okay, we're gonna be here for almost like 3 hours,
3.5 hours, 4 hours,
3.5, 4 hours by the time we get out of here. But like I mentioned, the first time we recorded this, I bought a Lourdes Gurriel Jr. jersey last year. Now, for those of you listening, let that sink in for a bit. If you know the recent deals that have happened this summer, let that sink in. Okay, we're good. All right. So basically, for those of you who don't know, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. just got dealt to the Arizona Diamondbacks a few weeks ago. I believe it was beginning early December. Gabriel Moreno as well. For what's his name? Varsho.
Dalton Varsho.
Dalton Varsho, yeah.
And Kevin Kiermaier.
Kevin Kiermaier wasn't that wasn't a trade. That was more of a signing. We'll get to him in a moment. And I was bummed out because I just, like I said, bought his jersey last year, and now all of a sudden he's gone. But now I kind of cooled my jets since then, and I realized what the Jays were getting out of Varsho, utility player. mediocre bat, can hit close to 30 homers in a season. He's also a left-handed bat, which is good. Jays need some of those because Raimel Tapia ain't it.
I forgot he was on the team, to be honest.
Everyone did. Everyone's like, oh, the Jays had no lefty batters. I'm like, yeah, they did. Tapia, he wasn't good. That's why everyone forgot about him.
He was so good he was forgettable.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest. But anyways, yeah. So here's where I'm at. I'm gonna try to sum this up pretty quickly because we took a lot of time with the reffing conversation again. I like what the Jays have done so far. I'm gonna miss Gurriel because the guy has a nice cannon of an arm. I do like his bat once in a while. He is kind of clutch when it comes to runners in scoring position. Holds the franchise record for most Grand Slams hit by a Blue Jay. Teoscar Hernandez, glad he's gone. I thought he was a lazy outfielder. The Jays are going to miss his bat. Kevin Kiermaier, they signed him. Was it a 1-year deal? Yeah, 1-year deal.
Band-Aid.
I like the addition, but at the same time, I'm like, this is one of those things where I would have liked to have seen that 5 years ago.
Yeah.
5-6 years ago during the 16-15
It was still a
run.
Band-Aid, but less of a Band-Aid.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at with that. I think the Blue Jays need a 6-7 guy in the bullpen. They did do that though with Swanson
from Seattle in that
Teoscar deal. I still think so right now what I'm banking on is Nate Pearson to get healthy and be consistently healthy, so he can be the sixth guy to come in, or the number 6 guy to come in if a pitcher can't go 5 or plus innings. And then I think you'd go at 7. You'd have a guy like, who did we mention? Because I had Simber as 8 and Romano at 9.
Swanson.
Did I? No, was it Swanson?
It was Swanson and Pearson, wasn't it? And then we talked about Kikuchi moving to the bullpen because of.
You're right. Yes. Okay. And then
with the Tommy John being back in July, and they just signed Bassett to the lineup.
Bassett, exactly. Yeah. So I think they need to figure out the 6th and 7th slot in the bullpen, and then I think they'd be good. Kikuchi needs to go. I don't see a place for him at all on the team. Jimmy Garcia could be an option at 7.
Maybe
probably
6, yeah.
Maybe 6. Him and Swanson might be able to rotate. As for the starting rotation, I like it.
Yeah.
I think it's good. If they can get another close to all-star quality pitcher, go ahead and do it. Don't ask me who. I don't know who, but I really like Manoah. I like Gausman. I like Barrios. I like Chris Bassett a lot. I think he's another Ross Stripling, if you ask me.
And you were upset that they lost Stripling.
And I am upset that they lost Stripling. I thought they could have. It sucks. 2 years, $25 million. Really, you couldn't pay him that? Come on. I think that would have been your 5th guy, and I know you disagreed with that.
Well, because I just think he's too good of a 5th guy, and I don't think they have the money for it. Right?
But knowing that he would have signed for 2 to 25, 2 for 25.
2 for 25 in total or per year?
Well, no, because that's what it is, right? No, they signed him to a 2-year deal, $25 million. That's it.
No.
That's what I'm saying. That was cheap. Because in the first episode, first attempt to record this episode, Spencer was like, well, that's kind of pretty expensive though. But after looking it up, I'm pretty sure it's 2 for 25.
Yeah, it is only, 12.5 million per?
Yep. There you go. So that's what I'm saying. You couldn't pay him that to stick around? Come on. But, so I look at the way the things are going for the Jays. The one concern is that Jansen is not going to be healthy. I'm waiting for the day where I see, Danny Jansen on the 10-day IL or is on the IL or whatever. He's another Band-Aid, which is kind of why I hate that they got rid of Moreno. If you're going to get Varsho anyways, why not throw in Jansen and another prospect instead of Moreno?
Well, because think about it, Al. I'm not sure if Moreno's ready for the MLB.
That's fine, but I'm just saying, long-term wise, Jansen's not going to be with the Jays for much longer.
Well, you'd hope, but you also got to.
I give him 2 years.
Because you're thinking about it, because you don't want Alejandro to be your main catcher.
You want him at DH.
He's not particularly good behind the plate. He isn't particularly good.
No, but he's shown signs I think he progressed.
Well, yeah, of course.
As the season went on,
and that's gonna happen, right? But eventually, he's gonna hit his ceiling where he's not an all-star catcher.
But that's the other thing,
he's an all-star hitter.
Well, but that's the thing, right? How many years, other than the year with Russell Martin and Leandro Navarro in 15-16, did the Jays go after that? Well, basically, up until like 2020, where the Jays had a catcher that couldn't freaking hit. Well, the problem was Jansen was supposed to be that guy. The only issue is the guy got hurt.
He's hurt. Yeah.
And eventually you get older, it diminishes, and you know what I mean? So, like, I don't know. I like what the Jays have done. I hope they're not done yet.
Yeah, get more bullpen arms. They need more bullpen arms, for sure.
Bullpen, and I'd like another starter. Other than that, I think their batting order
And we forgot to mention again, Whit Merrifield in the outfield.
Yes.
He can play center field. He
Correct.
Can play, I think he can play right and left, and then he can play second base.
He's a little bit more depth, and they're good. But if they can get their bullpen to be a little bit better, because like I said in the first attempt to record this, I know it's getting annoying and redundant, but screw you guys. I'm going to keep mentioning it because, again, I'm salty about it.
Yeah, he's very salty.
I'm very salty
He's always very salty,
yeah,
guys.
All right?
He's very salty. He's a salty.
If there's one thing the Houston Astros taught us from this previous postseason that just passed is bullpen will definitely go a long way and help you go a long way in the playoffs. If you look at the Seattle and Astros series, that 18-inning game, bullpen, man, that could have gone to 25 innings, and the Astros still would have won it.
Yeah, it's just the idea of being able to have that, I'll say, super bullpen, which I'll say the Yankees popularized with Adam Ottavino, Zach Britton.
The Yankees are looking dangerous.
I dislike the Judge deal. I think it's too much money for too long a term for a guy who is a Band-Aid.
Were you surprised that he re-signed?
No, not particularly.
No, because if you listen to episode 4, I think Spencer was calling me crazy for going, you're crazy if you think he's going anywhere else.
Yeah, because he isn't going anywhere else. He was going to New York. Because
I was really hoping he would have gone to Boston just to piss you off.
I was going to say Hal Steinbrenner. No, but Steinbrenner, the current acting, managing, I'll say owner of the New York Yankees. Not Hal anymore. That's Dad. It's one of the boys who runs the team now. But anyway, I don't believe with any logic in his brain was ever going to let him walk. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, that's
like there wasn't.
It's just that quote.
Moment.
That quote though, when Judge was like, I don't know, like when he was talking about the Yankees fans, and I forget what it was, but I just remember going, "Oh, Judge might not resign because of this." And it was one of those where it's not like a quote that was misinterpreted or anything. Like he was literally saying, like, "Screw Yankees fans, I might actually want out. Like we'll see what happens," kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, you hit over 60 home runs in a season, you should get a payday like that.
Hey, it actually is Hal Steinbrenner. I was right. I thought Hal was Dad, but no, Hal is the current acting principal chairman of the New York Yankees.
Oh, there you go.
But anyway, like, I didn't believe Hal Steinbrenner would let Judge go for any price if he could afford it, which was, I think, within $40 million. If he could get 40 per year, I thought Hal would match it. If it got to 45, I thought Hal would say that's too much money and let him go to San Francisco. Al, the only thing that would have scared me about the Judge deal with San Francisco would have been I don't know if you saw it, the high school thing where he wrote, "Where am I going to be in 10 years?" instead of playing for the San Francisco Giants.
No, I did not see
that. That worried me. That I heard that and went, oh, okay, so this was a childhood dream of playing for the Giants.
And there's a lot of athletes that are doing this now where they're going home. They're going home. Kawhi Leonard
went home.
John Tavares.
I think technically PG went home, or at least went. I don't know if he's from LA, but I know he went to LA.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll
but
quickly check, but.
No, the reason why Kawhi signed there is because he's like, I want Paul George.
Well, and he also wanted to play at home.
Yeah, that was the main thing.
Yeah, Paul George is from Palmdale,
so
California.
A lot of athletes are going home.
Yeah, they're trying. Right?
So
Stamkos was supposed to go home. It didn't. Stayed in Tampa.
Yeah, well, imagine that's a big what if too. Like, imagine Stamkos signs with the Leafs. Like, does Tampa win that cup? I think they do.
They might.
They win the first one. But the second one,
yeah, because he got hurt the first one. He was basically out of the playoffs. But
played that one game.
I also don't know because how is that team going to be built without Stamkos, right? Like,
well, that's the thing, right? So this is a good segue into the next topic. Because I'm done with the Jays. I don't know about you. I'm done about baseball. The Toronto Raptors.
Yeah.
They're doggy doo doo.
Yeah, they haven't panned out, have they?
Yeah, and things are getting heated. Thaddeus Young and Scotty Barnes got into a heated debate, I guess we'll say. I don't want to say an argument. I don't want to say altercation because nothing was thrown or whatever. But
nobody get it was no punches thrown. There was no
Chris Boucher and Juancho Hernan Gomez had to get between them and kind of during the shoot around before their last game. Who did they play the last game?
I'll quickly check.
Did they lose?
In a win.
They had
It was beat the Trailblazers.
Portland.
Beat the Trailblazers on the 8th. They lost the Knicks on the 6th.
That's right. But anyways,
Knickerbockers.
So things are not going well for the Raptors, and then this happens.
Mm-hmm.
So, I know we talked about this already. This is why it's kind of annoying, but and I feel like I've talked a lot, so I'll give you the floor first, I guess. What do you think needs to happen for the Raptors here, like to? Because do you think they should try to make the playoffs, or should they start tanking and be better positioned for the draft? Like, I want to know I know what I think.
I think it depends on where Usai Majiri thinks he is. If he believes this team is close,
but they're not though.
But if he thinks they're close,
if Masai thinks this team is close, then I got a problem with Masai. But that's my thought though. I don't think it's on Masai. I don't think it's on Bobby Webster. I don't think it's on Nick Nurse. I think this is solely the players they have right now is not working. Mm-hmm. The bench is awful. And I think they need to figure out real quick who they want to build the team around, which I'm assuming is the young guys. I don't think you're trying to build a team around Fred VanVleet anymore. If you're trying to build this team, you're using Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, Scotty Barnes. Those are the guys you're building your team around.
Now, Al, I'm going to repeat this, because I said this in the last episode.
Yeah, but nobody knows what you said, so you're technically not repeating. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. As you keep mentioning it before I go across this table and punch you in the head. Anyway.
You can't, buddy. This plexiglass is protecting
I'll jump it. I'll jump it like I'm Mike Milbury.
Yeah, I'm good. Well, let's not see that.
I'll jump the boards and hit you with your own shoe. Anyway, so Scotty Barnes is averaging lows in every single stat, including shooting percentage from 3-point and from the field. They're averaging less points and less rebounds. Only thing he's averaging more in is assists by about 1 full assist because he played point guard earlier in the year because Fred VanVleet got hurt. One thing I am quickly looking at: Fred VanVleet last year was an all-star. Was an all-defensive team.
Last year.
Should have been an all. No, but that's what I'm saying. Last year, Fred VanVleet was an all-star. Could have been an all-defensive team. This year, his shooting percentage from the floor is 37%. His shooting percentage from 3 is 33%. That simply isn't good enough.
No.
That simply isn't good enough, and that's, I think, to your point where he can't be built around right now, and I agree with you. But it's also, who wants him? If the Raptors thought
listen, there's a team out there.
But who?
So here's my thought. Okay, here's my thought.
If the Lakers?
No.
Well, who'd you want from the Lakers?
No. It's gonna be one of those teams. And by the way, if you're trading Fred VanVleet, let's say this year, you're getting draft picks for him.
Well, obviously.
Okay, this is almost a teardown. It's not a rebuild. I think they'll be decent. Depending, there's always a right buyer. You just gotta find
them. But again, who?
I don't freaking know. Who? If you guys know the New Day and watch WWE, you got that and you had a good chuckle probably, or you think we're a bunch of bums and losers. But hey, we don't give a shit.
We agree. You're right.
We agree. You're absolutely right, and we don't care. But anyways, there's obviously a suitor for him. And also, Fred VanVleet has also reported that he turned down a $114 million contract extension. Earlier today, came out and said
denied it.
Denied it. He's
denied the even offer was extended. Denied they even got that far.
Yeah, he said I'm not talking about contracts. I'm not having any of those conversations right now. And obviously, when you read that too, you're also going, man, Freddie's been a bet on yourself kind of guy. And I mean, let's be honest. If he were to get offered $114 million, I don't think he denies it. I don't think he rejects it.
Depending on how many years it is. I think Fred VanVleet believes on the Raptors he is either a max contract or darn close to it.
He's not a max contract.
On the Raptors, I think he does.
If Freddie believes he's a max contract guy, yikes.
Well, with the guys getting max contracts, I wouldn't blame him.
Yeah, but no. I think his max contract would have been after the championship run.
And now you know what, Al? Here you go. So here's the NBA standings currently right now. You tell me, out of the list from the East, who on the East and the West are teams that actually would genuinely want to trade for Fred VanVleet right now.
Cleveland and Philly.
Nope, neither. For
Really?
sure. Well, Philly maybe, but I don't think the Raptors want to trade with Philly. I feel like there's
obviously
a rivalry
not because so okay.
And they wouldn't want to trade with.
I didn't think that. I literally just looked at teams that I don't think Boston's got room for him.
They don't.
They don't.
Nope.
It's not happening.
Nope. Too many guards already.
Brooklyn.
Nope.
Freddie's not gonna want to go there. Bunch of egos.
Nope.
He doesn't want to go there.
Don't play defense.
Milwaukee.
Either. Nope.
No.
They don't need him.
That's why I'm thinking. I think I like
the Cavs. Don't need him.
Really?
I like Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, or Dawes.
But I think
he's a bench player.
But I still think he would complement.
Karis LeVert.
I still think he complements the team.
Well, he does, but he's not going to go there. They don't need another guard.
I mean, he likes Kyle Lowry. Do you think he goes to Miami?
Well, I mean, you could argue, but then think about
But
it.
the other problem is too, like Freddie's been dealing with injuries this season too, right? So like,
But also think about the Heat though. They have like Gabe Vincent who plays,
Tyler
Max
Hero.
Strauss, Tyler Hero's an absolute dog. Like, not including
It's weird.
Kyle Lowry.
It's weird. Like I don't know. Like it could. I don't know. I don't know. It's just a thought. It's just a thought. That's all it is. But
And then like honestly, Al, the only team I could think of that like now looking at the standings, who genuinely could be like a team where like you know what we want a guy like Freddie, Dallas.
ooh, the Mavs would be good.
Like the Mavs are a team that need another piece that can score,
Dude,
another piece that can play defense.
Him
Luka?
with Doncic. Damn.
Because you don't even need to play Luka point guard. You can play him as shooting guard and let Freddie handle the ball.
And Freddie can also like take away the heat from
That's what I mean. He's another shooter.
Doncic in the sense, well, like first of all, Doncic has been unbelievable.
Well, yeah, but
Great first half of the year.
But think about if VanVleet goes there and then it can get a little bit of that shooting stroke back and shoot a little bit better. Even if it's 50 and 40, if it's like 45 and maybe 38, 37 from three. That takes so much heat off of Doncic. Now that you have another guy who you genuinely can trust that can score as well as Chris Wood. Like that could be a quotation marks big three, Al, if you will. That could actually do some damage in the playoffs.
That would be interesting.
Like that's the only team I've seen that like I generally look at like, you know what? Like I feel like Dallas would have the money, the pieces, and Cuban, who's a guy who their owner, Mark Cuban, who loves to make moves like that, wants to be a better team. Like maybe
It'd be interesting. It would be. I mean, yeah.
Even though Raptors fans, I know for a fact, would not want to trade Fred VanVleet. I don't think.
I'm sorry, but like,
I just don't think they would.
if you want your team to succeed, like, honestly, if I were to hear this now, like, or if the Kawhi deal doesn't happen, but the Raptors still win a championship, like with DeMar and like whatever, yeah, I'd still be like, oh my god, like, what are you doing? No way they're trading VanVleet. But ever since the Kawhi trade, I'm open minded to anything. Like, if there's a good suitor and there's a good offer, a good return, yeah, see you later. Like, as much as we hate it, like, sports is still a business at the end of the day.
Yeah, the sad reality is it's always a business. Yeah,
right.
It's always
so,
a business.
like, yeah, I mean, I think the Raptors got to figure out now who they want to build around.
What's their identity?
Exactly. Yeah, what their identity is, and if they're gonna sell at the end of the year, well, start losing, or keep losing rather. Because let's be honest, they're not.
See, I don't even think a rebuild is necessary.
No, not a rebuild, like a tweak,
A retool.
like like I said,
because I don't
Siakam, Barnes,
OG,
Trent and then Trent Jr. I think I forgot him the first time around, but those are the guys I keep. Everybody else, I'm listening to everything.
Because, like, honestly, I think the biggest problem now with the Raptors is their drafting has not been particularly
But that's
good.
what they also said too, right? I say they, like, I forget what the source was. I think it might have been ESPN, but at the trade deadline, the Raptors are setting the market.
Yeah.
They're the domino. Like, they're the main piece. Like, as soon as that piece of the puzzle falls, it'll determine how other teams
dictate. Yeah, make decisions.
Work around the league, right? So that's interesting too. Like, the Raptors hold a big power chip, I guess you could say.
Well, yeah, because they're that middling team that's like, are they going to buy and try to get better, or are they going to sell and try to get worse? And
or
then
like,
other teams are going to
stay
try
mediocre.
to yeah, because unlikely they stay. I predict they're
I
going to
think
make
they
a
sell.
decision. Like
They sell.
See, I either think they stay pat or they might buy. Because I think Masai likes what he's got, and I think Masai might try to get better to see if he can make the playoffs.
Okay, so what? So you sell your bench?
No, I think you maybe sell some draft picks.
Sell some draft picks to get like better starters?
Try to get somebody you can trust, as maybe a sixth man or a guy who can move one of your starters to the bench, and try to finagle your way around there. But a younger guy like Trent Jr., a younger-ish guy, right?
Yeah.
Or if they do sell, it'll be like Fred VanVleet and maybe a draft pick for a younger guy, like a younger starting guard.
Yep.
That they can develop like Trent Jr. Right?
It'll be interesting. I can't wait to see how it like turns out. But right now, like, man, it must be tough to be a Raptors fan.
Yeah, we wouldn't know.
No.
As you don't watch basketball.
I like the Raptors, but I'm not super invested like I am with hockey and baseball. But
and I'm a Celtics fan, so I laugh at their misery.
Yeah, there you go.
As the top dog in the East.
Yeah, one thing that's definitely wasn't a laughing matter. Couple days ago, almost a week removed now. DeMar Hamlin.
Yes.
Good news now. The news keeps getting better and better, and definitely good news. He has been reportedly released
from the
Cincinnati hospital,
University of Cincinnati,
and is now back home in Buffalo. And yeah, he's out. He's doing well. He's gonna continue to rest and recover. But thank goodness for that, because man, I don't know about you, Spencer, but like my initial reaction when I saw that was like, man, this turned from a sporting event to a news event real quick.
Yeah, it took a turn for the worst as like everything happened, and you gotta, for people who don't know what we're talking about, I'll just give you a quick summary. So on Monday Night Football, Bengals versus Bills, a big game, two top AFC teams battling for first to get the bye in the wild card game. They're playing in Cincinnati. DeMar Hamlin down 7-3 in the first quarter, plays a tackle on T. Higgins. As he places the tackle, he gets a shoulder to the chest, and in that moment, we talked about this, like perfect second, perfect spot with the shoulder to the chest, perfect timing in his heartbeat, and his heart stopped. He had cardiac arrest, and they had to perform CPR on him for over 9 minutes on the field. They ended up getting him out, getting him to Cincinnati Hospital. He regained consciousness a couple of days ago. He, as we just mentioned right now, got released from the hospital earlier today. And here's a quote from the article. DeMar walked his first lap around the hospital on Friday, and he is on a normal to accelerated trajectory. We continue to be ecstatic about his recovery. So that is very promising from everything we hear. It sounds like he'll be able to live a normal life, even though he had CPR done on him for 9 minutes, which would normally point to, or at least you would think would normally point to, some
Certain
sort
deficits.
of cognitive deficit,
Yeah.
if not some physical deficits.
Yeah.
Which so far has not been the case, and hope to not continue the case.
It's crazy.
And you want to mention the charity as well.
Yes.
He had a toy drive in Pittsburgh, in Pennsylvania, because he from Pennsylvania went to the University of Pittsburgh, went to Pitt, and he had a toy drive. It was at a couple $1,000s. He only wanted a couple $1,000.
Yeah, he wanted
for
like
it.
$5,000 or whatever, and now
It's almost $10 million.
Yeah, almost at 10 million. And the crazy part is, like, as this situation was unfolding, like, I remember checking, like, a few hours after the incident happened, it had gone up to 3 million.
Yeah.
Then the next day, it's like, oh, we're at 6 million. And now the last time I checked was 8 million. So it's got to be close to 10 million. But, like, it's crazy how it sucks, too, because, like, it's unfortunate that a bad situation or something bad had to happen in order for something good to happen. But I mean, that's how the good and bad works, right? Like, to have bad, there's got to be some good, and to have some good, there's got to be some bad, right? That's just life. That's what it is, right? So, it's unreal how the football community came together, how people outside the football community came together, like even hockey players, like every sport, the entire sports world backed this guy. And
deservedly so, much.
Who's like 24, by the way.
Yep, 24.
Like,
second year in the NFL.
Insane. Obviously super happy to hear that
he's been released
and everything's good. But like, man, like, that's crazy. Like, we talked about this the first time we recorded. Man, I'm sorry, I hate using that sentence, man. It's actually annoying me a little bit now too. I can only imagine what it's gonna feel like for you guys when you listen to this. But how I thought of Rich Peverly and Jay Bouwmeester, who are National Hockey League players,
Blues and Dallas Stars, respectively.
Blues and Dallas Stars, respectively, and how they had a similar situation. No hit. They were both on the bench when they had a cardiac event. So scary stuff.
Yeah, and then in the field action, Chris Pronger, they've got a puck to the chest, and he had cardiac arrest, and then Christian Eriksen on the soccer pitch.
We didn't talk about this the first time around. I really like how Josh Allen made sure in his media availability to make sure to say that who hit DeMar Hamlin?
T. Higgins.
It
hit/got hit.
So T. Higgins, how they, apparently he was taking a lot of heat.
Yeah, he got some death threats, I believe.
Death threats, and I really like how he made sure, like, before he ended his media availability, I think it was before the game, pregame, how he was like, hey, like, don't, like, leave this guy alone. Like, this was a football play. There was, you could tell there was no ill intent towards Hamlin. So, like, I really like that about Josh Allen. Really classy guy, and it just shows, like, what kind of leader and what kind of person he is. And once again, how this was more than just football, because this was a life or death situation, and not just for DeMar Hamlin, clearly for T. Higgins as well, who, like you just mentioned, was receiving death threats. So, overall, like, bad situation, but a lot of good came out of it, and it's super nice that he's out of the hospital and whatnot. So, I think, was there, football. Geez, playoffs are coming up.
Yep, the
right.
wild card games are on. I quickly want to mention that the Arizona Cardinals have now cleaned house. They lost their GM Steve Keim to health-related reasons. He stepped away from the GM role. He has now been demoted. If he does come back from his health-related, whatever his illness is or whatever his ailments are, he'll be in a lesser role. Their head coach Cliff Kingsbury just got fired today. They both were extended 10 months ago to extensions that put them to the 2027 season or through the 2027 season, going into the 2028 off season. Now they're both canned. Well, basically both canned. So now Arizona's looking for a new GM and a new head coach going into this season. Makes sense. Cliff Kingsbury's a bad coach, and Steve Keim's not a great GM. So good for them. Hopefully Arizona finds somebody good, even though they're in the Niners division. So I hope they suck still, because they suck. In all fairness.
And so wild card starts this Saturday, so January 14th. Your 49ers, San Francisco, taking on the Seattle Seahawks.
And as I said, 14 points, 2-score game. Niners are gonna crush them.
Spencer's got money.
Close.
Spencer's got money on this wild card, so he's got a parlay going.
Yeah, I bet a parlay of all 6 games because the only 2 teams that get a bye now are the top seeds. There's 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, and 4 versus 5.
And you said there's only one team you picked the under on?
Yep.
Yeah.
I picked the favorite in every single game except for one.
Except for one. Can you guys guess? I already forgot the answer. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, never mind. No, I figured it out.
Yeah, of course you did.
I figured it out.
It's the obvious one.
Yeah, it's the obvious.
It's the glaring one.
Yeah.
If you will.
We'll get to that in a second, but I like Jacksonville.
The other Saturday game, the night Saturday game is Jacksonville versus the LA Chargers.
Yeah.
I went back and forth on that one, but the Jacksonville's won 5 in a row.
I like Trevor Lawrence. I think they got I know some people I know one person for sure would say momentum in sports is not a thing. It is. It is. It totally is. All right, it shifts. I think I'm gonna go with ride with the hot team, man. Like Jacksonville, baby.
I love Jacksonville. I love Trevor Lawrence. I love the running back Travis Etienne. I like some
I
of
just
the
like
wide
his
receivers.
story right now. Like he was ass in his first season in the NFL.
Well, that's because of Urban Meyer being a bumhead NFL head coach. He's just a bum, awful human being. Anyway,
there you go.
But no, I like Jacksonville. I really like Doug Peterson. I love Trevor Lawrence, as I said. But I think the Chargers have a better team.
Still want Chargers, yeah.
And I bet the Chargers. I think Chargers win. When you look at Jacksonville, who they won in those 5 games. Tennessee twice, they suck. They beat the Houston Texans, they suck. I think they beat.
What he's trying to say is that the last 5
beat a bunch
games
of bum
they played,
teams.
They weren't competitive.
They beat the Cowgirls,
teams.
they suck. They lost to the Lions. That was their last loss with the Lions.
Laugh, man, with the teams you.
Yeah, but no, they lost they beat the bottoming out Jets. They beat the Cowgirls. They beat the Cowboys, who suck.
You remind me of Shaquille O'Neal when you say Cowgirls when he said the Sacramento Queens.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Because they suck. Dallas is the London Knights of the NHL.
Right,
no one likes them.
We're not going with
no
that.
one
We're
likes
not going with that. By the way, the London Knights play in the OHL. Just saying. You said NHL.
Well, I meant NFL, but anyway. I meant to say.
I'm so confused now. But anyways, all right. The OHL team for the Knights. All right.
Yeah.
Dolphins and Bills. I got Bills, but like
Obviously.
I said, the first go at it, I think the Bills have a chance to upset, even though they might not have Tua.
You mean Dolphins might upset?
What did I say?
You said Bills might upset.
Oh shit. I'm getting tired, man. Like we've been here for a while. Hot minute. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I still think the Dolphins have a chance to upset, even though they're without Tua. They might be without Tua.
Without Tua, with his concussions, they don't gotta hope.
Fair enough. I still think the Bills should.
They need a lot.
I still think the Bills should and will win, but I'm just saying if the Dolphins upset the Bills, I'm gonna kind of be like, I'm not surprised. But the one that's intriguing, I think this is the one you were talking about. Giants and the Vikings. So this is on Sunday. Bills and Dolphins on Sunday. Yeah. And Vikings and Giants is on Sunday as well.
That's the afternoon game. Then there's a night game. There's 3 games on Sunday, 2 games on Saturday, and 1 game on Monday.
This is the one when you went on the under.
This is the one where this is why I picked the favorite, but I openly admitted that these are 2 fraud teams and they both suck, and whoever wins this game is going to get bounced in the next round, guaranteed. The Vikings have been mediocre all year. They just play in a bad division with the Packers. Yeah, they play in a bad division and got some pretty lucky wins. I'm not a fan of the Vikings. I just don't like them. I think they're a fraud team, and I think the Giants are worse. I think they're even bigger fraud, which is why I picked the Vikings to beat them. They're up. They're +3 right now, or -3 right now. Are the Vikings over the Giants? I think the Giants are a bigger fraud playing in the NFC least. I think their division's garbage. Cowboys suck. The commies suck. And the Eagles, I think, are frauds too.
So you don't think they're legit?
I think every single NFC East, I should call the NFC least. I think every single one of those teams are not making it out of the divisional. I think they're all up by the divisional. Guaranteed.
Do we even bother talking about the Bengals and Ravens?
Well, the Bengals right now are -6.5. I think the Bengals probably win by 2 scores, even if Lamar plays, because Lamar right now is questionable for that game.
I'd like to see them go to the Super Bowl.
I don't think they do. I think the Chiefs beat them this year. I think the Bills beat them this year if they play. I don't know who they'll match up with when they get to the conference final.
Do you think the Bills are a Super Bowl team?
I think they're close. Like, I
don't think so, man.
I think the AFC's got 3 Super Bowl teams.
I think their window closed. I think after... Oh, geez. Well, not closed, like, completely. My headset fell off. I had to scratch my ear. But what was I going to say?
You think the Bills' window's closed?
I don't think it's closed, like, completely. I just think the best chance they had was that Kansas City overtime game.
Yeah, and then I'll still hear Bills fans, we lost by a coin toss. No, you didn't. Play defense. Period. I don't want to. I don't want to.
Yeah, no, that's that. Yeah,
I
that's
don't want
like,
to get upset
like,
about it.
Yeah, let's blame the rules for it. The rules are the rules, man. You know what it is. I honestly agree with you. Like, play defense. Like, hello.
You know how aggravated I was when I came back to school the next day and I heard Bills fans saying we lost to a coin toss. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You played the game to overtime. You got to overtime. The coin flip went in favor of the Chiefs. They received the ball. Not the ref's fault that you can't play defense and couldn't get one stop.
See, that's
okay. You couldn't get one stop. That's your fault. Get a stop. Play defense. Period. I don't care. I don't want both teams to get the ball now.
Yeah.
Because what's the difference in the Chiefs scoring a touchdown and winning, then them scoring a touchdown, you score a touchdown, they score a field goal or a touchdown, and they win. What's the difference? Well, you got the ball. You feel a little better about yourself. What's the difference?
That's the thing too. Like, I realize, like, hockey, like, both teams will get possession, like, because there's no, like.
No, they won't. Not necessarily.
Well, I mean, okay, like
not necessarily.
I've seen a lot of teams try to play the keep away game and it never works out. Well,
not normally.
Not never, but like it bites them in the butt.
Not normally, yeah.
Yeah, it'll usually bite them in the butt.
Especially in 3-on-3.
Yeah, the one I can think of the most is when the Sabres were playing the Leafs the one time in Buffalo, and the Sabres basically tried to keep away, and like fans were getting pissed off, like, because it was basically like it was almost a home game for Toronto, even though they were Buffalo. But
it was close enough.
Yeah, it was close enough, and I just remember the Sabres, I'm like, really? You're going to play keep away? Like, at least do something with it. Anyways, and then Matthews gets the puck with, like, less than 10 seconds to go and just nips one.
Yeah.
Like, top shoulder, like, it was a snipe. Like, I was like, that's what you get. But anyways, so my point to this was, like, technically you get puck possession on both sides, where I was kind of surprised. Like, I'm not a football guy. Like, I don't watch a lot of football, but I was surprised to find out that, like, first touchdown wins. First, like, point of that's it.
No, it's not. It's a touchdown. If you score a touchdown on the first possession, at least this was the old rule before they changed it this year because Bills fans cried too much because they're girly men.
Well, no,
don't
that's what I mean. Like, if you got possession of the ball first and you got a touchdown, that was game.
Yeah,
now it's different.
But if you kicked a field goal, the other team got possession. If they score a touchdown,
right, but that's what I mean.
Then they win.
A touchdown is an automatic win.
Yes,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I was surprised. Like, I do think like that was messed up, and I couldn't believe that for the longest time that was a rule. I'm like, man, like, football's not the kind of game where you can just get possession, like, you go back and forth. Like, it can be, but you'd have to have really bad quarterbacks and a lot of pick sixes. But, you know, so I think that's why, like, I don't think their window is closed, but, like, I do think if it goes down to Buffalo and Kansas
City again,
I think Kansas City wins it.
Probably.
I think they're just better.
But that's what I mean, though. Like, those 3 teams, Bengals,
Bills came in
Bills,
overhyped.
Chiefs, those 3 teams right there, any given Sunday can beat the other. And I believe that. Any given Sunday.
Right. But I kept hearing, too, at the beginning of the year, like, oh, Buffalo's a lock. But then they lost. There's some games they lost. I'm like, man.
They just didn't look good in certain games.
No,
like, they were inconsistent.
That's what I mean. Like, they're not consistent, whereas you look at teams like the Chiefs.
I think, honestly, this was the most parable NFL season we've had in a while.
This
where, like, as much as the football was bad, because some teams like the Bills had bad weeks and the Chiefs had bad weeks, that's what I mean, though, is every single team that's even good has had weeks where you're like, that team looked like garbage. Like, that was a beatable Bills team. That was a beatable Chiefs team. That was a beatable Eagles team. That was a beatable Niners team, right? Those are the top 2 seeds on both sides.
I mean, look at was it the Vikings against the Colts?
Yeah. They were down 33 at half and bring back the largest comeback ever in NFL
history. 33 points.
And they won the football game. And that's what I mean by both those teams were frauds. The Colts sucked. The Colts were awful.
Yeah.
And before I yell at Jeff Saturday again because he's an absolute pug and he should never have gotten the job in Indianapolis and can't wait for him to go back to the ESPN booth because he's an absolute moron and should never have been hired as a head coach. Oh my goodness.
This is the outrage moment. This was the outrage moment the first time around,
and it's going to be because, oh my God, Jeff Saturday should never have been hired by the Indianapolis Colts. He's an absolute useless coach. And should never been given the head coaching position with the Indianapolis Colts as the only coaching experience he had before this. The only coaching experience he's had before the NFL was high school.
Spencer. Yeah,
so aggravating. I hate it.
Take a breather, man. You're about to explode.
You know how aggravating it is as a guy who loved to coach one day.
You should see like Spencer's face right now. If I had to describe it, like it's like shaking, like it's
because
crazy.
Al, as a guy who'd love to be a coach one day, as a guy I would love to coach for football at at an offensive assistant, quarterbacks coach, offensive coordinator, head coach.
Spencer knows the game, okay? Like if
I would love
if I have to talk to someone about football, about anything, Spencer's my go-to guy, okay? Like this guy just knows the game inside and out.
Like I would love to coach. Watching a guy like Jeff Saturday who was on ESPN as a panelist. He went from ESPN to on the sideline for the Colts in 1 week. Are you kidding me? You couldn't have found somebody in the building? Like if you want to hire outside the building, that's fine. You couldn't have went in-house and hired your DC, OC, offensive assistant, God forbid, special teams coordinator.
Ah, jeez.
Anybody but a guy on an ESPN panel. Oh my goodness, what are you doing?
This is fun to watch.
Ursay.
I love this.
Oh my God, it's so aggravating to me.
Sports.
Because he doesn't deserve to be there. And then he lets up the greatest comeback in NFL history, the largest comeback ever in NFL history, at 33 points to a frauded Vikings team that I was laughing at while they were losing down 33, might I add, to that Colts team. Goes through 3 quarterbacks in Indianapolis in 6 weeks of being the head coach, will not be retained because he sucked, and they're going to get a real guy to fix the problems. Like, and I'm sorry, just because he was a leader because he played center for the team for a decade. No, he's not qualified, was never qualified, is not qualified, will never be a coach again because he's not qualified. He should not be there. Offensive line coach? You could sell me. Head coach? Are you out of your mind? Are you high? Smoked too much ganja for the show when you Snoop Dogg? Like it's so aggravating because it's like I would have rather hired.
You don't say. Wait, hold on. I got a question here. Like, we're gonna reset this. Right?
Okay.
Ready? Spencer, are you okay?
I'm great.
Are you good now?
Yeah, I'm good.
You sure?
No,
Dude,
people
you're scaring the shit out of me.
People call me angry.
No,
and it's like I'm not angry. I
just
just get aggravated when things don't make sense. When things aren't linear.
You're just a passionate little fella.
I love sports. I love the idea of sports. I love sports.
Yeah.
Sport is my thing. I love sport. All sport. So when people make it worse for no other reason than ignorance, it's very aggravating to me.
Amen
because
to that.
You cannot tell me Jeff Saturday was the most qualified, the most integral, was the best candidate to be the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts after they fired Frank Reich. Well, I don't think they should have fired in the first place. But if you're going to fire Reich,
at least go after someone.
Find somebody who's actually a head coach.
It's kind
of
like
DC in the building. I don't care, but no, you should not be hiring a guy literally on ESPN on TV.
It's kind of like a relationship. When you break up with somebody, most of the time you're looking for an upgrade, not a downgrade. And in this case,
don't ask out the first guy you see walking out of his house. Okay?
Sure. Yeah.
Don't ask the homeless guy on the corner begging for change.
Don't settle either. But like, you should see the look on Spencer's face right now. It's freaking hilarious.
It's so aggravating because I don't understand the thought process. And it's people like, well, he's playing for a job. He's never coached before. He doesn't even know what he's doing. He literally made some guy. I think he was just one of the offensive assistants. Wasn't the OC, wasn't the DC, wasn't a quarterback's coach. He was just like an assistant. Was like a low minor assistant. Offensive play caller. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot
what?
of there's a lot of things in sports we cannot explain, and that is.
And Jeff Saturday being a head coach for any more time than about 35 seconds is disgusting and should never have been allowed. Period, by anyone. Especially the Colts organization, and they should be ashamed of themselves for canning the year. Like, talk about trying not to tank. That was blatant tanking. Like, there's no other reason to hire Jeff Saturday other than saying we're tanking. We're done. We've given up on the year. We're done.
There we go.
What a joke. Absolute joke.
I think we are done now too. Like that.
Want to talk with the OHL?
No.
No, you're done.
I thought that conversation we had the first time around was like one of those where like we could have had that behind turned off microphones, but. Man, this was an eventful, very eventful episode. This was part 2.
I actually got hotter this time than I did the last one.
You did. Dude, you went off, man. Like, I actually was like, dude, like, but I was like thinking about the soundboard the entire time. I was like, man, the levels must be super hot right
I'll
now.
drop it.
That's fine. I know. We will be good.
But like,
hey, less F-bombs too this time.
Thank God.
That's another thing. Holy jeez. Can I tell you something? Holy did I ever swear a lot in the last episode?
Thanks, Al. I edit
just for you.
Make my poor job on auditioning gonna be even longer.
Oh,
but
man.
No, like it. Just to reiterate my point one more time, it is beyond mind-boggling to me.
We
when
got that.
Owners and GMs and decision makers in sports make boneheaded decisions that everybody can see is wrong.
I mean, if you think about it, that's probably one of the things like that. I mean, that's something to talk about, right? Like, other than just the game itself, and like, it's a talking point, right? Like, it's a thing. You need that in sports, or else, what else you got, right?
But like, don't hire guys that are not qualified.
I know.
I don't even care if they're underqualified.
I know.
But if they're not qualified, then what's your excuse?
We're not opening that can. That can
is
closed now.
What's
your
excuse?
Anyways, this was actually, at first I was like pretty bored, like in the sense that like I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot because like we had literally like stopped recording.
2 hours. Yeah, we've done 2 hours.
We did 2 hours, and we stopped recording, and then we find out we have to re-record again. So like this is episode 6, part
V2.
not part 2, take 2.
Yeah, V2.
Basically, and I like it. I like the way it went. Hopefully you listening to it liked it. I'm glad we kind of redid it though, because I think we did save ourselves, or you guys, some time, and we got to it a little bit quicker and in a more timely fashion. I think this has been under an hour. Oh, no.
About an hour and 20
about an
probably.
hour, something like that. But anyways, thank you for tuning in to The Outrage. We're gonna try to make it more consistent. We're aiming for like every Monday if we can.
We're gonna do next Sunday.
Can't do Mondays. Yeah, we're gonna try January 15th as the next one. If that doesn't work out, well, like if you haven't figured it out yet, we were on like a 2-month hiatus. We had stuff to do. We had to do. We got her done. I had a pretty good third semester. I don't know about you. Did you have, yeah?
No, it's not bad.
It was good. I'm happy with the marks I got. It was pretty fun. But
it's gonna be better than my fourth semester, I think.
Yeah.
God help me.
But anyways, we're going to try to be more consistent with it. January 15th should be when the next episode comes out. But
I'll go as far as to say will be.
What's that?
I'll go as far as to say will be on January 15th on
okay.
Sunday. Next Sunday.
That's pretty confident. We'll see what happens because a lot can change in the next 6 days. But anyways, I'm at Kevin, Big Al, AQ, Al, whatever the heck you want to call me. He's Spencer Byers. This was The Outrage. Talk to you later.